Have you ever laid in the dark, eyes wide open, heart heavy as a stone? It's not because you're weak, but because you've grown used to carrying it all in silence. Some pain has no name. Some wounds never bleed. Still you go to work. Still smile. Still function. While inside, there's a quiet war no one else can see. The hardest part? It's not the pain itself. It's the belief that you have to carry it alone. If that's where you are right now, this video is for you. Not to soothe you, not to tell you to stay strong, but to give you a tool, one that's been around for thousands of years. A tool that helped people survive war, loss, betrayal, and despair without losing their calm, their agency, or their dignity. Stoicism doesn't promise happiness. What it offers is deeper. It's the power to become unshakable. It doesn't teach you to run from pain. It teaches you to face it, move through it, and keep walking. Mind steady, like a rock in the storm. So if you're fighting a silent battle, don't look away. Stoicism isn't here to rescue you. It's here to remind you the strength to rescue yourself has been inside you all along. About Stoicism. Because right now, someone out there, maybe you, is carrying something so heavy, and they're doing it in total silence, still showing up, still pretending they're fine. But inside, it's falling apart. We live in a world full of noise, but where nobody really listens. A world that worships strength, but misunderstands what real strength looks like. You've heard the phrases, just think positive, everything happens for a reason, stay strong. But when you're alone at 2 a.m., those phrases feel empty. That's where Stoicism steps in. Not with cliches, but with clarity. Stoic philosophy isn't about pretending you're fine. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about learning how to carry your pain without letting it become your identity. Because what if your current struggle isn't the end of you, but the forging of you? What if pain is not punishment, but preparation? That's what this video is about. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore 10 Stoic principles. 10 life tools for anyone who's silently fighting their own inner battles. We'll talk about how to face pain without falling apart. How to move forward when you don't feel okay. And why silence doesn't mean surrender. It can actually be a sign of strength. This isn't a motivational speech. It's a mental toolkit for real people, in real pain, facing real life. So before we dive in, ask yourself this. What if the worst thing you're living through right now is quietly building the strongest version of you? Stay with me. This might change how you see everything. And if this already speaks to something you've felt, hit subscribe, because YouTube is more likely to show you content like this again. And honestly, you deserve that. People often think that strength looks loud. The person who speaks up first, stands tallest, never flinches. But real strength, it's much quieter than that. It's the kind of strength you build when you keep moving, even when nothing inside you wants to. It's when you smile at someone, even though you barely got out of bed. When you show up to life, not because you feel strong, but because you refuse to let yourself disappear. That kind of strength doesn't win trophies. It doesn't get celebrated. But it's what survival is built on. Some people cry when they're in pain. Others go silent. Stoicism speaks to the second kind. It's the ones who don't talk about what they're going through. Not because they don't feel it, but because they don't even know how to put it into words. And that silence becomes a burden, because if no one sees it, does it even matter? But here's the truth. Your pain matters, even if no one applauds. Your effort, even if no one texts back. Even if the world keeps spinning like nothing's happening, you're still doing something extraordinary. You are surviving something hard. Stoicism doesn't ask you to stop feeling. It simply tells you your pain doesn't get to be the whole story. When life breaks you down, it's easy to think you've failed, that you're weak. What if breaking isn't a sign of failure? What if it's just part of becoming something stronger? No sword is forged without heat. No steel becomes unbreakable until it's been shaped by pressure. You're not broken, you're being shaped. Think of Ernest Shackleton, trapped in Antarctica for nearly 2 years. No food. No way out. No rescue. Most people would have panicked. He didn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" He asked, "How many of my men can I keep alive today?" That's stoicism in action. Not fighting reality, working with it. Not collapsing into self-pity, choosing calm, focused action. You can choose that too, even if you're not stranded on ice. Maybe your Antarctica is a job you hate but can't leave, a relationship that drains you, a loss you can't talk about. You don't need the perfect mindset to survive it. You just need to stop waiting for life to feel fair. It won't. But you can still be fair to yourself. You can stop asking why and start asking what now. Some people misinterpret a more faughty "love your fate" as forcing yourself to be happy about pain. But it's not about smiling through heartbreak. It's about turning around and facing life instead of running from it. The more you run, the more it chases you. Buried sadness doesn't turn into peace. It turns into anxiety. Suppressed anger doesn't become strength. It becomes bitterness. What you ignore festers. What you face begins to lose power over you. So maybe the first brave thing you can do today is stop pretending. Be honest, at least with yourself. That's where every Stoic began. Not with some perfect, unshakable mindset, but with the courage to look in the mirror and tell the truth. Marcus Aurelius didn't write to inspire others. He wrote to face himself, alone. No readers, no audience. Just a man trying to stay sane, while carrying the weight of an empire. If he could dig within, so can you. You don't need to write philosophy. Just ask yourself one simple question. What am I really feeling? What am I trying to avoid? That's it. Start there. You'll be surprised how much strength you unlock by simply admitting what you feel. Once you name it, you reclaim. A little control, that's the secret no one tells you. Strength isn't about pretending you're okay. It's about owning where you are, not collapsing under it, not escaping it. It's just standing still long enough to say, "This hurts. I'm still here." Even when everything inside says give up, you're still here. That matters. We've been taught to fear silence, but silence is where truth lives. It's where your real voice, the one beneath all the noise, finally speaks. And if you learn to sit in that silence, even when it's uncomfortable, you begin to hear what actually matters. You begin to see that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not react, not explain. Just stand there, unshaken. There's this myth that only loud people are strong. But strength often wears quiet clothes. It looks like the nurse holding it together through her 12th shift. It's a father fixing the same leaking sink again because he can't afford a new one. The girl who walks past the people who once broke her without saying a word. It's stoicism. Not applause, not victory speeches, just action. Quiet, relentless, dignified action. And maybe that's the kind of person you are too. Not the one who posts every step of your healing. Not the one who needs everyone to understand. But the one who wakes up, keeps going, even if no one sees. That's not weakness. That's the deepest kind of strength. And here's something no one likes to hear. No one's coming to save you. But that's not a bad thing. That's freedom. Because if no one's coming, then you can stop waiting and start moving. You can stop hoping for a hand to pull you up and start building the strength to stand on your own. It's like being lost in the woods. No signal, no map. Just you. You don't sit there waiting for a rescue helicopter. You take inventory. You breathe. You pick a direction. You walk. Maybe that's what this part of your life is. Not punishment, not failure. Just training. Quiet, unglamorous training. Not for a fight, but for the kind of peace that can't be shaken, no matter what life throws at you. You're not falling behind. You're being forged. And if you don't believe that yet, that's okay. Keep moving anyway. Clarity comes later. Strength comes later. But they start with motion. You're not supposed to feel ready. That's the trap. Everyone thinks they need to wait until they're okay, until the fear passes, until the mood lifts, till the motivation comes back. But what if it never does? What if you stay waiting while your life passes you by? Stoicism teaches the opposite. You don't need to feel okay to act. You don't need motivation. You need movement. The smallest movement. Even if it's just folding one shirt, answering one message, washing one glass, It's not because that solves everything, but because it breaks the loop, the paralysis. It's that cycle of endless thinking and no action. Sometimes the only way out of the fog is to start walking through it. Think of Theodore Roosevelt. Born sickly, fragile, asthmatic, constantly told he was too weak. He didn't wait to feel strong, trained. He built his body and mind from the ground up, not out of ego, but out of necessity. He said, do what? You can with what you have, where you are. And that's what most people miss. Life doesn't give you a perfect moment to start. You create that moment by starting. Have you ever done something hard while feeling completely broken? Showed up to work after a sleepless night? Finished a project through heartbreak? Smiled through grief? Then you already know the truth. You don't need to feel okay to move forward. You just need to move. Your emotions will catch up. Or they won't. But your action, that's what builds the road out. The Stoics knew emotions are like the weather. You don't control the storm, but you choose where to stand. You can't stop the rain, but you can decide whether to sit in the mud or walk anyway. So next time anxiety hits, don't ask how. Do I get rid of this? Ask what's one thing I can do, even with this, and then do that one thing. That's how you win. Act with clarity, act with courage. The courage to take one small step while still scared, when the world feels too heavy. Don't try to solve your whole life. Just do something small. Clean one corner, write one sentence, stretch your back, make tea. That act, however small, is your quiet rebellion. Your way of saying, I'm still here, haven't given up. This is how people survive the hardest seasons, not by having it all figured out, but by shrinking the mission. From fix my life to fold this shirt. From find happiness to take a deep breath. That's not laziness, that's strategy. Because when you can't lift the weight of everything, you carry what's in front of you. And tomorrow, maybe you carry a little more. Have you ever stood in your room, surrounded by a mess, and felt completely paralyzed? Not from laziness, but from hopelessness. And then, somehow, you forced yourself to do one small thing, throw a wrapper away, wipe the counter, and suddenly, something shifts. That's stoicism too. Not the dramatic overhaul, the quiet return. One small act at a time. That's how healing begins. That's how discipline is built. Not with grand declarations, but with silent acts of resistance. You rise not by defeating all your demons, but by refusing to bow to them today. And here's something else no one tells you. Even the strongest people have fallen silently. The ones you admire, the ones who seem invincible, they've had nights. Curled up on the bathroom floor, mornings they couldn't get out of bed, thoughts they never spoke aloud. But they didn't stay there. They stood up, without applause, without rescue. That's what made them strong. Abraham Lincoln lost elections, lost a child, battled depression. Nelson Mandela spent decades in prison, unseen by the world. Florence Nightingale fought against a society that told her women didn't belong in medicine. Harriet Jacobs lived in hiding for 7 years in an attic she couldn't stand up in. Not one of them waited to feel ready. They moved. Endured, they built strength in silence. That's what you're doing too. You don't need to be a hero to matter. You don't need a spotlight to be valid. If you're quietly surviving something no one sees, you are already extraordinary. You are already proof that strength comes in many forms, and not all of them are loud. Maybe no one has said this to you lately, but you're doing better than you think. The fact that you're still here, still breathing, still listening, still trying, that counts for something. More than you know. And if all you did today was exist, you already did enough. You don't need to know your purpose right now. You don't need to find meaning in every hard thing. Sometimes survival is enough. Sometimes the only purpose is to keep breathing, to keep standing, to keep walking, even if you don't know where you're going yet, because meaning doesn't always come first. Often, it follows. After the pain, after the work, after you've made it through what you thought would break you. So if you're in the middle of something right now and you're tired of pretending you're okay, let this be your reminder. You don't have to be okay. Just have to not stop. And if you do stop, that's okay too. Just don't stay. Stopped, rest, cry, journal, then try again. It's about persistence. Quiet, honest, flawed persistence. You're not alone, even if it feels like it. Somewhere right now, someone else is folding a blanket, cleaning a dish, lighting a candle. Not because it solves everything, but because it's a step. A small defiance against the darkness. And in those small acts, something incredible happens. You remember who you are. You remember your power, not the loud kind, but the kind that lasts. The kind that stands, even when everything around it crumbles. So breathe and take the next small step. Not because you're ready, but because you're still here. Maybe you're wondering, is that it? But let me ask you something else. You finish this video, when the screen goes black and the silence returns, what are you going to do? Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because if you've made it this far, then you're not here for noise or hype. You're here because something inside you is ready, or maybe not ready to conquer the world, or ready to take back one piece of yourself. So don't let this be just another video you scroll past. Let it be a marker, a line in the sand between who you've been and who you're becoming. And before you go, there's something important to remember. The next challenge in your life probably won't announce itself. It won't come with a warning. But when it hits, and it will, you'll already have something others don't. A quiet strength, clear mind, resilient shaped not by perfect days, but by all the moments you didn't quit. So here's what I want you to do next. Don't leave empty-handed. Let this video guide you to your next step, literally. Click on the next video that appears right here on your screen, not because it promises to fix your life, but because maybe, just maybe, it gives you one more tool to keep going. No miracles, no motivation, just you, still walking, still building, and now not walking alone. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next video.